Deep within the heart of the ominous woods, where the twisted branches seemed to claw at the moonlit sky, stood the desolate mansion. Its facade, once adorned with opulence, now crumbled beneath the weight of time, bearing scars of neglect and decay that spoke of a forgotten era. Ivy tendrils snaked their way up the crumbling walls, reclaiming the mansion for nature as the once manicured garden succumbed to the relentless advance of wild vegetation. Eerie shadows cast by the gnarled trees played tricks on the mind, dancing in the moonlight to create grotesque, shifting shapes on the mansion's dilapidated walls. The air itself carried a palpable sense of foreboding, as if the very atmosphere recoiled from the secrets held within. The mansion appeared not as a mere structure but as a time-worn sentinel, guarding ancient mysteries that begged to be unraveled. Locals, their whispers carried away by the ever-present wind, spoke of the malevolent spirits rumored to haunt the area. Tales of ghostly apparitions and mournful wails permeated the collective memory of the town, casting a spectral pall over the desolate mansion. Superstition had become a powerful force, and even the bravest souls dared not approach the decaying structure, their footsteps faltering as they crossed the invisible threshold into a realm where reality blurred with the supernatural. The mansion, once a symbol of wealth and prosperity, now stood as a haunting reminder of a bygone era. Broken windows gaped like empty eye sockets, and the grand entrance, now a skeletal frame, seemed to beckon the curious to step into the abyss beyond. The encroaching darkness, aided by the twisted silhouettes of the surrounding trees, claimed the mansion as its own, wrapping it in a shroud of mystery that dared anyone to unveil the secrets held within its walls. As the moon hung low in the night sky, casting an ethereal glow upon the desolation, the mansion appeared as a foreboding monolith rising from the mist. The mist itself, thick and clinging, seemed to be a living entity, swirling around the mansion like a ghostly guardian. To the few who chanced a glimpse from a distance, the mansion became an enigma, an enigmatic puzzle waiting for someone to unlock the whispers carried by the wind and the shadows that danced in the night. The desolate mansion, a relic of a past steeped in opulence and now veiled in decay, loomed like a ghost from another time. It stood as a testament to the inevitable passage of the years, bearing the weight of forgotten memories and the ghosts of its former glory. Yet, for all its dilapidation, the mansion retained a macabre allure, drawing the curious and the courageous into its embrace, tempting them to uncover the mysteries that clung to its every stone and shadow. Within the desolate mansion, obscured by the veils of time and neglect, resided a chamber where a singular artifact held the echoes of the mansion's haunted history. A mysterious portrait, its frame adorned with gilt that had long lost its luster, hung in silent observation. The painted figure within, a specter from a bygone era, gazed with hollow eyes that seemed to penetrate the very souls of those who dared to cross the threshold of the room. The portrait depicted a visage frozen in perpetual sorrow, the brushstrokes capturing the essence of tragedy and despair. The subject's countenance hinted at a life once filled with vitality, but now extinguished by an untold fate. The air within the chamber felt charged with an otherworldly presence, as if the portrait itself harbored the essence of the tormented spirit that lingered within the mansion's walls. Legend whispered through the cracks in the floorboards and echoed in the rustling leaves outside the mansion. Locals spoke of the tragic resident immortalized in the portrait, a figure whose life met an abrupt and gruesome end within the shadowed halls. Rumors suggested betrayal and dark secrets that had woven a tapestry of malevolence, trapping the spirit within the mansion's confines. Those brave enough to recount the tales spoke of inexplicable happenings in the presence of the portrait, as if the eyes followed them with a spectral intensity that transcended the confines of paint and canvas. The room housing the mysterious portrait became a sanctuary of silence, a place where time seemed to stand still. The faded wallpaper, peeling and curling like ancient scrolls, bore witness to the passage of centuries. Cobwebs, delicate but persistent, clung to the corners, as if the very spiders sensed the ethereal nature of the room and dared not disturb its sanctity. Visitors, drawn by morbid curiosity or a desire to unlock the secrets of the mansion, entered the chamber with trepidation. The air hung heavy with the weight of unseen eyes, and an oppressive stillness settled upon the room as if the very walls were privy to the intimate details of the portrait's subject. Those who dared to meet the gaze of the painted figure felt a chill that transcended the physical, a sensation that lingered long after they departed, leaving an indelible mark on their psyche. As the moon cast a silvery glow through the room's cracked windows, the mysterious portrait became an enigma within an enigma, a doorway to the past that beckoned the living to unravel the threads of tragedy woven into the very fabric of the desolate mansion. The silent observer, trapped within the frame, bore witness to the unfolding drama of the living, its story waiting to be unearthed by those who dared to peer into the abyss of its haunted gaze. As night descended upon the desolate mansion, an eerie wind stirred through the broken windows and weathered crevices, carrying with it ghostly murmurs that seemed to echo the tragic tales embedded in the mansion's time-worn walls. The air, thick with a sense of impending dread, whispered of secrets buried deep within the marrow of the mansion's bones. It was a symphony of sorrow, an otherworldly choir that crooned of betrayal, lost love, and the shadows of tormented souls that clung to the very foundation of the accursed building. Those who lingered near the mansion at the witching hour swore to hear the anguished whispers, the disembodied voices that intertwined with the rustling leaves and the creaking timbers. The wind itself became a carrier of the past, a spectral messenger recounting the stories of those who had met tragic ends within the mansion's forlorn embrace. It was as if the very essence of the building, soaked in sorrow and despair, had found a voice in the howling wind, reaching out to anyone who dared to listen. The locals, long accustomed to the tales of the haunted mansion, would speak in hushed tones about the ominous nature of the nocturnal breezes. They warned against venturing too close to the decaying structure after sunset, cautioning that the wind, a conduit for the restless spirits, carried with it an invisible weight that could seep into the very soul of the living. The stories spoke of unsuspecting wanderers who, swayed by morbid curiosity, found themselves ensnared in a spectral dance with the unseen, forever changed by the whispers that echoed in the night. In the midst of the haunted wind, the moon cast its silvery glow over the mansion's desolation, painting the scene in an eerie chiaroscuro. Shadows danced on the walls, their movements synchronized with the ethereal whispers that permeated the air. Each rustle of leaves, each creak of the time-worn floorboards, became a haunting refrain in the macabre symphony of the night, as if the very elements conspired to reveal the mansion's long-buried secrets. The wind's whispers, carried from the shadows of the past, hinted at a narrative of treachery and tragedy that transcended the boundaries of the living. It was a spectral chorus that beckoned to those who dared to delve into the mysteries of the mansion, a siren's call that promised revelation and peril in equal measure. As the wind carried the tales of the tormented souls into the night, the desolate mansion stood as a silent witness, its haunted history woven into the very fabric of the chilling nocturnal breeze. Within the desolate mansion, a staircase worn by the footsteps of entities unseen ascended to the upper reaches of the decaying structure. The wooden steps, each groaning under the weight of a history untold, led to upper floors where the air seemed to thicken with an otherworldly presence. The staircase became a testament to the passage of time, its creaks and moans echoing the silent cries of those who had traversed its time-worn path in ages long past. Each step, warped by the relentless march of years, protested the intrusion of the living, emitting spine-chilling groans that resonated through the silent halls like an eerie melody. Those who dared to ascend felt an invisible force compelling them forward, drawing them deeper into the heart of the mansion where the shadows clung like a tangible shroud. As visitors climbed higher, the atmosphere became increasingly charged with an electric tension. It was as if the very air held the imprints of bygone footsteps, the echoes of spectral sounds that lingered like whispers in the spaces between reality and the ethereal. The walls, adorned with peeling wallpaper that whispered tales of a forgotten grandeur, leaned in as if to share the secrets etched into the very foundation of the mansion. The upper floors, once adorned with opulence, now lay in a state of decay that mirrored the mansion's overall decline. Dust-covered relics of a bygone era adorned the forgotten chambers, their once vibrant hues now muted by the relentless march of time. Tattered curtains swayed in the phantom drafts that traversed the long-abandoned rooms, and the sunlight, filtered through the cracked windows, painted an otherworldly tableau on the rotting floorboards. As night enveloped the mansion in its inky embrace, the staircase took on an even more ominous character. The creaks, now amplified in the cloak of darkness, reverberated like ghostly footsteps climbing towards an unknown destination. Shadows, cast by the flickering light of a moon struggling to penetrate the veil of mist, played tricks on the minds of those who ventured into the spectral realm. The staircase, a bridge between the realms of the living and the dead, became a passage into the unknown, a journey that transcended the physical and delved into the metaphysical. Those who reached the uppermost landing found themselves standing on the threshold of the mansion's most closely guarded secrets, where the unseen forces of the past and the present converged in a dance of shadows and whispers, compelling the living to confront the unspeakable horrors that awaited above. In the heart of the desolate mansion, as the moon reached its zenith, a grand ballroom awaited, frozen in time and steeped in the echoes of a tragic elegance. The once resplendent space, now a mere husk of its former glory, held the lingering presence of a ghostly apparition that materialized under the cover of darkness. The ballroom, adorned with decaying chandeliers that hung like skeletal remnants, became a stage for a spectral performance that unfolded in the stillness of the night. The ghostly figure, draped in a tattered gown that seemed to defy the laws of decay, emerged from the shadows with an ethereal grace. Its every movement, a haunting ballet that transcended the physical, left a trail of icy dread in its wake. Witnesses, frozen in awe or terror, recounted the feeling of an unseen hand brushing against their skin as the phantom danced through the moonlit darkness. The spectral waltz, accompanied by the soft rustling of tattered curtains and the melancholic moans of the mansion's aging timbers, created an atmosphere of poignant tragedy. The ghostly apparition's face, twisted in eternal anguish, bore the weight of a sorrow that had transcended the boundaries of life and death. It was as if the ballroom itself had become a stage for a performance of the macabre, where the spirits of the past reenacted a tragic tale for any unfortunate soul who chanced upon the scene. As the ghostly figure twirled through the desolation, its movements left an indelible impression on the atmosphere. The air seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, as if the very essence of the mansion had been drawn into the spectral dance. Witnesses, whether driven by morbid curiosity or an irresistible compulsion, found themselves spellbound by the ethereal performance, unable to tear their eyes away from the unfolding drama. The grand ballroom, once host to celebrations and joyous gatherings, now became a haunting tableau, a realm where time stood still, and the past manifested in a haunting present. The ghostly apparition, forever enmeshed in the dance of tragedy, became a harbinger of the unresolved anguish that permeated the mansion's desolate halls. Each pirouette, each ephemeral gesture, served as a testament to the unbreakable bond between the living and the dead, a connection forged in the crucible of the mansion's dark and tortured history. As the first light of dawn approached, the ghostly figure faded back into the shadows, leaving the grand ballroom in an eerie stillness. The remnants of the spectral performance lingered, etched into the very fabric of the room, waiting for the next moonlit night to once again cast the desolate mansion into the grip of a haunting dance that bridged the realms between the corporeal and the ethereal. Beneath the desolate mansion, hidden from the prying eyes of the living, lay a forbidden basement, a chamber sealed off from the passage of time and untouched by the meager light that struggled to pierce the mansion's upper floors. The entrance, obscured by layers of dust and neglect, hinted at a descent into the abyss, an abyss that held the echoes of arcane rituals, dark sacrifices, and a portal to a realm beyond human comprehension. The air in this unhallowed space resonated with malevolence, as if the very walls absorbed the sinister secrets whispered within its confines. Those who dared to breach the depths of the forbidden basement spoke of a chilling cold that clung to the skin, a tangible manifestation of the unseen forces that lingered in the shadows. The descent down the creaking staircase into the subterranean darkness became a journey into the heart of the mansion's most guarded mysteries. The forbidden basement, its walls adorned with symbols long forgotten by the world above, bore witness to rituals that defied the natural order. The flickering light of candles, their flames dancing in macabre unison, cast eerie shadows upon the ancient runes etched into the stone. The remnants of long extinguished incense hung in the air like a spectral mist, weaving a tapestry of otherworldly scents that clung to the senses of those who dared to intrude. Legends whispered of dark sacrifices offered in the name of forces beyond mortal comprehension. The very stones seemed to absorb the residue of malevolent energies, creating an atmosphere that pulsed with an unnatural vibrancy. Those who stood in the presence of the forbidden basement felt an invisible weight pressing upon them, a force that transcended the physical and reached into the recesses of the soul. The portal, spoken of in hushed tones and dismissed by skeptics as mere superstition, stood as a focal point within the basement's depths. A gateway to a realm where the laws of reality bent and twisted into inconceivable shapes. Witnesses claimed to hear indescribable sounds emanating from the portal, a cacophony that echoed the anguished cries of entities that existed on the fringes of human comprehension. The forbidden basement became a realm unto itself, a subterranean sanctuary where the veil between the living and the dead grew thin. Those who ventured into its depths, driven by morbid curiosity or an insatiable desire for forbidden knowledge, risked encountering the unspeakable. Madness, it was said, awaited those who sought to unravel the mysteries concealed within the forbidden basement, a madness that whispered of a truth too terrible for mortal minds to bear. On the second floor of the desolate mansion, a forgotten nursery lay hidden behind time-worn doors. Within this seemingly innocent room, an unsettling collection of dolls, frozen in time and trapped in eternal play, bore witness to the spectral remnants of childhoods long past. Their lifeless eyes, like shards of glass reflecting the darkness within, seemed to follow anyone who dared to enter, their porcelain features contorted into sinister smiles that sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls. The dolls, arranged in a ghastly display upon dusty shelves, wore dresses that had long lost their vibrancy. Their hair, once meticulously styled, now hung in disheveled strands, mirroring the decay that had befallen the mansion itself. Each doll, a miniature specter of innocence twisted by the passage of time, exuded an air of malevolence that transcended their inanimate forms. Local whispers spoke of a cursed playroom, where the dolls, imbued with the spirits of long-departed children, stirred in the moonlight. Those who dared to linger near the nursery claimed to hear the faint sound of ghostly laughter, as if the echoes of childhood joy had been eternally imprinted within the walls. The room became a haunting reminder of lives cut short and the lingering energies that refused to fade away. The dolls, once cherished companions, now stood as silent sentinels guarding the secrets of the past. Visitors, drawn by morbid curiosity or a compulsion they could not resist, found themselves entranced by the eerie tableau. It was as if the dolls themselves held a tragic narrative, a story of innocence lost and the shadows that clung to the remnants of youth. In the pale glow of the moon filtering through cracked windows, the nursery took on a surreal ambience. The dolls, bathed in the silvery light, seemed to come alive in the imagination of those who gazed upon them. Whispers of forgotten lullabies and the patter of tiny footsteps echoed in the minds of onlookers, creating an unsettling dissonance between the tangible world and the spectral realm inhabited by the dolls. The unsettling collection became a symbol of the desolation that permeated the mansion, a macabre testament to the intertwining of the living and the dead. Each doll, frozen in its perpetual state of play, beckoned to those who entered the nursery, inviting them to contemplate the fragility of innocence and the horrors that could befall even the most untouched corners of the mansion's haunted history. As the clock struck midnight, a haunting melody echoed through the once grand halls of the desolate mansion. The source of the spectral music remained elusive, teasing the living with its melancholic tune. The composition, ethereal and evocative, seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves, as if the mansion harbored a musical soul that resonated with the echoes of a bygone era. The haunting melody played upon strings that transcended the tangible instruments of the mortal realm. Witnesses spoke of a mournful lament, a melody that wove through the air like a spectral waltz, beckoning the curious to follow its mournful strains. Those who dared to pursue the ethereal music found themselves navigating the twisting corridors, guided by an unseen force that drew them deeper into the heart of the mansion's mysteries. The grand piano, its once polished surface now marred by the passage of time, stood in a forgotten corner of a shadowed chamber. Its keys, untouched by human hands for years uncounted, seemed to depress of their own accord, producing notes that resonated with an uncanny clarity. The instrument, a relic of a musical legacy that had long since faded into silence, became a conduit for the supernatural forces that lingered within the mansion's decaying walls. As the haunting melody echoed, the atmosphere within the mansion transformed into a surreal dreamscape. Shadows danced in time with the spectral rhythm, and the very air pulsed with a resonance that transcended the boundaries of the living. Witnesses, transfixed by the otherworldly symphony, spoke of an overwhelming sense of sorrow, an emotional current that tugged at the heartstrings and left an indelible mark on the soul. The haunting melody, a siren's call that resonated through the mansion's haunted corridors, beckoned the living to confront the unresolved emotions that lingered within its notes. It was as if the music itself held the key to unlocking the mysteries of the past, inviting those who listened to peer into the spectral tapestry woven into the very fabric of the mansion. The notes, like tendrils of an unseen force, reached out to the living, wrapping them in a haunting embrace that blurred the line between reality and the supernatural. As the final strains of the haunting melody dissipated into the silence of the early morning, the grand piano stood once more in quiet repose. The echoes of the spectral composition lingered, leaving the mansion bathed in an eerie stillness. The haunting melody, a transient whisper from the past, remained etched into the very essence of the desolate mansion, awaiting the next moonlit night to cast its melancholic spell upon the living. In the master bedroom of the desolate mansion, a tarnished mirror hung upon the wall, a silent witness to the passage of time and the haunting reflections of those who had dared to gaze into its depths. This mirror, once a luxurious fixture reflecting the vanity of a bygone era, had become a gateway to the macabre, a portal through which the living confronted their own mortality and the spectral shadows that clung to the mansion's desolation. The mirror, its once gilded frame now dulled and worn, possessed an unsettling quality that transcended the norms of reflective surfaces. Those who dared to meet their own gaze within its tarnished glass found themselves confronted not by their own image, but by a ghastly vision of their demise. The macabre reflection showed a lifeless form in a twisted realm beyond, an image that etched itself into the minds of those who sought to pierce the veil of the unknown. Legends whispered of the mirror's uncanny ability to reveal the future or unveil the secrets that lay hidden within the mansion's haunted halls. Skeptics dismissed such tales as the product of overactive imaginations, yet the allure of the mirror proved irresistible to those drawn to the mansion's spectral mysteries. The master bedroom, once a sanctuary of opulence, became a chamber of contemplation and dread, where the living hesitated to confront the enigma held within the tarnished glass. As the moon cast its silvery glow through the room's cracked windows, the mirror became a focal point, absorbing the ambient shadows and distorting reality into a nightmarish tableau. The air in the master bedroom felt charged with an energy that seemed to vibrate with the echoes of untold stories, as if the mirror itself held the power to bridge the gap between the corporeal and the ethereal. Visitors, whether lured by curiosity or driven by an insatiable need to confront their own fears, stood before the mirror with trepidation. The reflection, a macabre reminder of mortality and the specter of the unknown, became a rite of passage for those who sought to delve into the mansion's darkest secrets. The mirror, a silent observer of the living's introspection, whispered the tales of forgotten lives and the restless spirits that lingered within its reflective surface. The master bedroom, bathed in the surreal glow of moonlight, became a realm where the line between reality and the supernatural blurred. The mirror, tarnished and time-worn, stood as a portal to the uncanny, inviting those who dared to peer into its depths to confront the haunting reflections of their own existence, a reflection that transcended the physical and delved into the unfathomable abyss beyond. With the approach of dawn, the desolate mansion, shrouded in the remnants of the night's mysteries, tightened its grip on the living souls who dared to trespass within its walls. The inescapable curse, woven from centuries of anguish and malevolence, whispered promises of eternal torment to those unlucky enough to become entangled in its web. As the first light of daybreak touched the decaying facade, the mansion stood as a spectral sentinel, patiently awaiting the next unsuspecting soul to cross its threshold and succumb to the unfathomable abyss within. The curse, an unseen force that permeated the very air of the mansion, became a binding thread that connected the past and the present. Those who entered seeking answers or driven by the irresistible pull of the supernatural found themselves ensnared in a web of shadows, where the boundary between the living and the dead blurred into obscurity. The curse, a malevolent entity forged by the tragedies that echoed through the desolate halls, lay in wait for the living to become unwitting actors in its ongoing tale of torment. The mansion, now illuminated by the cold light of day, retained the echoes of the night's horrors. The forbidden basement, the haunted ballroom, the nursery of spectral dolls, all stood as testament to the inescapable curse that clung to the very essence of the decaying structure. Locals, wise to the whispers that circulated through the town, avoided the mansion's reach, recognizing the inevitability of the darkness that awaited those who ventured too close. Each footfall within the mansion became a step deeper into the clutches of the curse. The creaking staircase, the mournful melody, the haunted reflections, all converged to enthrall the living in a dance of despair that seemed to transcend the boundaries of time. Those ensnared by the curse spoke of a gradual descent into madness, where the line between reality and the supernatural faded like a waning shadow. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting its harsh light upon the desolation, the mansion stood as a silent testament to the inescapable curse that gripped its very foundations. The air within its walls, thick with the weight of spectral energies, echoed with the sobs of unseen entities and the anguished cries of souls forever lost. The curse, an ever-present specter, defied the passage of time, perpetuating a cycle of torment that ensnared the curious and the unsuspecting alike. With the setting of the sun, the mansion once again retreated into the shadows, its secrets and the inescapable curse hidden from the prying eyes of the living. Yet, the echoes of the night's horrors lingered, carried by the wind and whispered among the townsfolk, ensuring that the desolate mansion remained a haunting enigma, a malevolent monument to the inescapable depths of darkness that awaited those who dared to tread too close to the threshold of the unknown.